Hello everyone, welcome to Chapter 3, Section 1 of the online video course, Chinese Traditional Culture and Spiritual Healing. My name is Su Wenchao, a teacher at Guangdong University of Foreign Studies.
Professor, what kind of person is appreciated by everyone? I want to be like that.
Each person is an individual with his or her own value system. Therefore, the people we admire in our minds may be different. What kind of people did Chuang-Tzu admire? Was it a sage like Confucius who promoted benevolence and love? Was it an erudite scholar like Hui Shi? Was it a marquis like Qi Huanggong who caused a stir? Was it a nobleman like Bo Yi and Shu Qi who would rather die than submit? No. Many of the people Chuang-Tzu admired were ordinary people or even weak in the eyes of the general public. For example, the cook Dean who dismembered the bull, or the old man with a bandbag who trapped the cicada. Although they were ordinary people doing ordinary work, they were able to do ordinary work in an extremely extraordinary way, with extraordinary charisma, and all were extraordinary in Chuang-Tzu's eyes. Let's first learn about the story of the cook Dean. A cook named Dean slaughtered the bull for the ruler Wen Hui, and his movements were so graceful and skillful that the sound the knife made when he dismembered the bull was like a beautiful piece of music. The ruler was amazed at this and asked the cook why he was so skilled at dismembering cows. The cook answered, "It is not a matter of skills, but a profound life lesson I have learned. When I first started dismembering cows, I saw a whole cow. After a few years, I saw the anatomy of the cow, and I could see where the tendons, bones, and meat of each cow were. So, I followed the cattle's physiology, directing my knife to the space between the tendons and meat, never bumping into the coil parts of the tendons, bones, and meat, let alone the big bones. So, his knife was still as sharp as if it had newly come from the whetstone, even after being used for 18 years. Let's then learn about the story of the cicada hunting band-backed old man. Confucius saw a hunchbacked old man sticking cicadas in the woods with a pole with glue as easily as if he were picking them up from the ground. Confucius said, "Such superb skill! You must have realized some profound truths about life." The hunchback old man said, "I am aware of the Tao. I practiced for 5 or 6 months. If I could stack 2 projectiles on the tip of the pole without falling down, I would miss less often in gluing cicadas. If I could stack 3 projectiles on the tip of the pole without falling down, I would miss only 1/10 of the time. If I could stack 5 projectiles without falling down, it would be as easy as picking them up from the ground. When I stick the cicada, my body is bent like a peg, and the arm holding the pole is as steady as a dead twig. Though I face the vast world and all things of every shape and form of mind, is only the wings of the cicada. So how can I fail to stick it when I stand still and do not divert my attention to anything, but focus solely on the wings of the cicada?" Confucius was so impressed that he turned back to his disciples and said, "Concentrate your mind without distraction, and you will be able to gather your thoughts." So it says this one. The process of dismembering a cow can be watched with some interest and admiration by the ruler of a country, who can also learn the truth about the preservation of life. The old man with the bent-back cicada hunting skills and experience in cicada hunting could make Confucius so impressed and enlightened. This shows that an ordinary business can be done in a very extraordinary way. This makes me think of the recent net rat born after 1995, the courier Li Qingheng, who has engaged in express work for more than 5 years. Because of his outstanding career professional skills, Li Qingheng is assessed as a high-level talent in Hangzhou and is granted the 1 million home purchase subsidies by the city government. What kind of skills does a courier have? Some readers might be muttering. Li Qingheng is familiar with the national city or postal code. As long as he sees the address on the courier list, he can immediately recite the corresponding city, area, postal, and aviation code. He can scan solid glue, USB flash drivers, lighters, Chinese yuan, ping pong, and other aviation prohibited items from hundreds of items at a glance. He can make a 19-piece express delivery route design with the least amount of time, the shortest route, to ensure that the express delivery is on time and accurate within 12 minutes. In order to remember all this information, Li Qingheng almost reached the extremity of obsession. Sometimes when he sees a car license plate on the road, he will put all the information about the city in his head. In everyone's mind, it is usually the highly educated and well-known talents who are judged to be high-level talents. But the courier is awarded this honor, which is really quite shocking. The netizens also generally praised Li Qingheng and the Hangzhou city government for their unconventional appointment of his talents. The world's obsession with dividing people into different classes is too strong. All people aspire to work in superior, decent, and respectable professions, but such professions are few and far between. The social pyramid dictates that most people can only pursue ordinary careers, even those that are regarded as inferior by snobs. Parents often threaten their children in this way. If you don't study hard, you will have to do some menial jobs when you grow up. The writer Long Yingtai said to her child Andre, "Son, I ask you to study hard not because I want you to compare your grades with others, but because I want you to have the right to choose in the future, to choose meaningful jobs and jobs that can give you free time, instead of being forced to earn a living. When your work is meaningful to you, you have a sense of accomplishment. When your jobs give you time and doesn't deprive you of your life, you have dignity. Fulfillment and dignity will give you joy." This passage has found resonance with so many parents of the so-called chicken children, the children whose parents keep them studying. One of the main reasons why so many parents want to work so hard for their children is that they are afraid of their children pursuing these common low careers. From the perspective of the sex doctrine, these careers are not only come with a low income, but also low levels of freedom and dignity. The success doctrine, which claims that being in an ordinary career means being unsuccessful, is a poison that has been infused into society. Weren't Cook Dean and the cicada-catching old man successful? Not only did they derive great pleasure and insight from the business they were engaged in, but they were also able to make it to the point where even kings and Confucius were impressed. Isn't the courier Li Qingheng successful? Li Qingheng has not only been awarded a high-level talent, but also received a high praise from netizens. How many people who have been awarded as a high-level talent have received such courtesy from netizens? Some would say that taking Kokdin and Li Qingheng as examples is not representative because they are just a tiny minority. It is true that the probability of success for people having ordinary careers is low, but we also need to think about why they have a low probability of success. On the one hand, it is because our society gives a strong negative psychological impression to the disadvantaged groups and provides limited social support and resources to them. On the other hand, it is also because people in this group find it difficult to find value in their work. They themselves don't recognize or love what they do. Imagine if our society as a whole can treat all legal jobs equally, and if we can provide more social support and social security to the underprivileged so that they can truly gain a sense of dignity and fulfillment. And if these underprivileged people can love and focus on their careers like the cicada-catching old man and Li Qingheng, their lives will be different. In addition, I would like to say that our external world may be difficult to change in the short term, but the internal world of the mind is something we can practice. James, the father of American psychology, said, "A man can change his life by changing his attitude." Therefore, the underprivileged can still rely on their own strengths and derive greater fulfillment from their careers. I also believe that even if the cicada-catching old man had not met Confucius and had not been praised by him, and his talents were neither discovered by the general public nor generally recognized by the community, he would have been settled and contented inside because he had done what he loved, and his life would be successful. Before we finish, I have 2 questions for you to think about. You can see them on the screen now. Please pause the video to think about them and continue when ready. 1. What kind of people do you admire? 2. Do you agree that being in an ordinary career means being unsuccessful? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.